BS Zoology, 3rd semester, final term, phylum Annelida, class Olygochaeta with all system, delivered by Shabana Wali. As we have discussed before in our introduction lecture about classification of phylum Annelida, class Olygochaeta is the second class of phylum Annelida. Class Olygochaeta has over 3,000 species found throughout the world in freshwater and terrestrial habitats. Few Olygochaetas are estuarine and some are marine. Estuarine is a coastal body of rivers. In it, others river flows. Aquatic species live in shallow water where they burrow in mud and debris of water. Terrestrial species Terrestrial species live in soils with high organic content and rarely leave their burrows in hot, dry weathers. They may retreat to depth of 3 meters below the surface. Soil conditioning habits of earthworm are well known. Lumbricus terrestris was introduced to the United States from northern Europe and has flourished. Common native species like Esnia, Fotida, and various species of Lolobophora are smaller than Lumbricus. If we want to know about the external features of Lumbricus or earthworm, Olygochaetes have setae but fewer and shorter than are found in polychaetes. Prostomium consists of a small lobe in front of the mouth and lacks sensory appendages. Clitellum, a series of segments in the anterior half of an olygochaete, is usually swollen into a girdle-like structure called the clitellum. Clitellum secretes mucus during copulation and forms a cocoon. A non-living secreted cuticle covers the whole body. After discussing the external features, we have locomotion. Segmental bulge and setae protrude when longitudinal muscles contract, providing points of contact with the burrow wall. In front of each region of longitudinal muscle contraction, circular muscles contract, causing the setae to retract and the segments to elongate and push forward. Contraction of longitudinal muscles in segments behind a bulging region pulls those segments forward. The segments move forward relative to the burrow as waves of muscle contraction move entirely on the worm. Burrowing. Burrowing is the result of coelomic hydrostatic pressure being transmitted towards the prostomium. As an earthworm pushes its way through the soil, it uses expanded posterior segments and protected setae to anchor itself to its burrow wall. Contraction of circular muscles transforms the prostomium into a conical wedge 1 mm in diameter at its tips. Contraction of body wall muscles generate coelomic pressure that forces the prostomium through the soil. During burrowing, earthworms swallow considerable amount of soil. Now we have feeding and digestive system. Olygochaetes are scavengers and feed primarily on fallen and decaying vegetations, which they drag into their burrows at night. The digestive tract of Olygochaetes is tubular and straight. Mouth leads to a muscular pharynx. In the earthworm, pharyngeal muscles attach to the body wall. The pharynx acts as a pump for ingesting food. The mouth pushes against food and the pharynx pumps the food into the esophagus. Esophagus is narrow and tubular and frequently expands to form a stomach, crop, gizzard. The latter two are common in terrestrial species. Crop is a thin-walled storage structure and a gizzard is a muscular, cuticle line grinding structure. So in this way you can distinguish the difference, between gizzard and crop. Glands are also present. These glands are calciferous. These are evaginations of the esophageal wall that rid the body of excess calcium absorbed from food. They also help regulate the pH of body fluids. Intestine is a straight tube and is the principal site of digestion and absorption. Digestion and absorptions are two stages of nutrition. Digestion, conversion of complicated food particles into the simplest one, and absorption or assimilation is the absorption of digestive material into the intestinal wall inside the body fluid. A dorsal fold of the lumen epithelium called the typhlosole increases the surface area of the intestine. The reason of increase the surface area of intestine, more surface area, it means more vessels are present in it and more assimilation can be performed. Intestine ends at the anus. After discussing the digestion and feeding mechanism, we have respiration, respiratory system or gas exchange. Some segmental vessel expands and may be contractile in the earthworm. For example, expanded segmental vessels surrounding the esophagus propels blood between dorsal and ventral blood vessels. Respiration is usually with the help of the surface, and osmosis can be seen in them because olygochaetas are found in moist soil or inside the water. That is the reason surface area of the skin can easily perform the function of respiration. Some segmental vessels expand and may be contractile in the earthworm. Expanded segmental vessels surround the esophagus, propel blood between dorsal and ventral blood vessel and anteriorly in the ventral vessels towards the mouth. Even through these are sometimes called heart. The main propulsive structures are the dorsal and ventral vessels. Branches from the ventral vessel supply intestine and body wall. So in this way, circulation of earthworm can be done. Now we have nervous system for olygochaetas. Ventral nerve cords and all ganglia of olygochaetas have undergone a high degree of fusion. Other aspects of nervous structure and function are essentially the same as those of polychaetas. Joint fibers mediate escape reactions or escape responses. An escape response results from the stimulation of either the anterior or posterior end of a worm. An impulse conducting to the opposite end of the worm initiates the formation of an anchor, and longitudinal muscles contract to quickly pull the worm away from the stimulus. Olygochaetes living subterranean lake well-developed eyes. Other olygochaetes have simple pigment carpoculi and all have a dermal light cells that arises from photoreceptor cells scattered over the dorsal and lateral surface of the body. Olygochaetes are sensitive to a wide variety of chemical and mechanical stimuli. Receptors for these stimuli are scattered over the body surface, especially around the prostomium. Now we have excretion or excretory system in earthworm. Olygochaetes use metanephridia for excretion and for ion and water regulation. Funnels of metanephridia are associated with the segment just anterior to the segment containing the tubule and nephridiopore. Nitrogenous wastes include ammonia and urea. Olygochaetes excrete copious amount of very dilute urine. Although they retain vital ions, which is important for organisms living in environments where water is plentiful but essential ions are limited. Olygochaetes possess chloragogen tissues that surrounds the dorsal blood vessels and lies over the dorsal surface of the intestine. They act similarly to the vertebrate liver. It is a site of amino acid metabolism. Chloragogen tissues deaminates amino acids and converts ammonia to urea. And you know well, urea is less toxic as compared to ammonia. It also converts excess carbohydrates into energy storing molecules of glycogen and fat. Now we have reproduction. All olygochaetes are monoecious and exchange sperm during copulation. Reproductive systems, one or two pairs of testes and one pair of ovaries are located on the anterior septum of certain anterior segments. Both the sperm ducts and the oviducts have ciliated septum funnels at their proximal ends to draw gametes into their respective tubes. Testes closely associated with three pairs of seminal vesicles, which are sites for maturation and storage of sperm prior to their release. Seminal receptacles receive sperm during copulation. A pair of very small ovisacs associated with oviducts are sites for the maturation and storage of eggs prior to egg release. During copulation of lumbricus, two worms line up facing in opposite directions with the ventral surfaces of their anterior ends in contact with each other. This orientation lines up the clitellum of one worm with the genital segments of the other worm. A mucus sheath that the clitellum secretes envelops the interior halves of both worms and holds the worms in place. Some species also have penile structures and genital setae that help maintain contact between worms. Lumbricus sperm duct releases sperm which travel along the external ventral body wall in sperm grooves formed when special muscles contract. Muscular contractions along this groove help propel sperm towards the openings of the seminal receptacles. In other olygochaetes, copulation results in the alignment of sperm duct and seminal receptacle openings, and sperm transfer is direct. Copulation lasts 2 to 3 hours, during which both worms give and receive sperm. Clitellum forms cocoon. for the deposition of eggs and sperm. The cocoon consists of mucoid and chitinous material that encircle the clitellum. Clitellum secretes a food reserves albumin into the cocoon and the worm begins to back out of the cocoon. Eggs are deposited in the cocoon as the cocoon passes the opening to the oviduct and sperm are released as the cocoon passes the openings to the seminal receptacle. Fertilization occurs in the cocoon and as the worm continues backing out, the ends of the cocoon are sealed and the cocoon is deposited in moist soil. Freshwater oligochaetes also reproduce asexually. Asexual reproduction involves transverse division of a worm followed by the regeneration of missing segments. Development. Spiral cleavage, special developmental pattern, is modified in olygochaetes and no larva forms. Hatching occurs in 1 to a few weeks depending on the species when young worms emerge from one end of the cocoon. Regeneration is a specific phenomenon which can be seen with the aspects of asexual reproduction. We know metamerism is the unique feature of olygochaetes and earthworm. That is the reason if few segments injured or decay, then the remaining segments can be able to regenerate these segments again. Thank you for watching.